Hi, everyone, and welcome to Legal Limelight. I am so excited. Today's guest is Marci Hopkins. We met recently at an event with David Meltzer in New York. You may know her by her fabulous show, Wake Up with Marci, and I am so excited. We had a little bit of technical difficulties because all the platforms keep changing and upgrading. So thank you for everyone who's tuning in and watching actually live. Thank you for your patience. And thank you, Marci, for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's wonderful to be here, and how grateful I am that we met and we made this happen and we knew each other through other people. So I tell you, it's network, guys. Get out there because it's so important. You meet amazing people.
Yeah, and I think, but we could start with that. How has networking and community? Because I know you're a big community builder. By going to that event with David Meltzer, it shows that you're someone who's not just behind a screen. You're really out there wanting to build relationships. So, how has networking helped you build your brand?
Well, first of all, I want to acknowledge that it can be hard. It can be hard to get out there, understand like who you're going to meet and what you should say, and you know, you can feel very uncomfortable with it. But I think if you go into any situation and you have somewhat of a strategy behind it, right? Understand what the event is, who is there, what are you looking to gain from it, and put some questions together. I mean, that also helps. Like, you can be asking the same sort of questions of other people or the same, like the same sort of questions. Nobody knows, right? So you can start with a foundation and then let the conversation naturally grow from there. But it has helped me significantly. I don't know if you know this, but I started off with a Facebook Live show called Coffee with Marci. And
Yeah.
that was about interviewing entrepreneurs in my community. So I wanted to bring um, the entrepreneurs and those that were needing what they offered together within the community. So that was really important to me. And then as this started happening, I realized like we all have a story. We're all looking to make a difference in this world in some capacity, even if we're not sure of what that is yet. But the only way that I really was able to get to know people or know how I could help or how they could help me or how we could grow together, collaborate, is by getting myself out there and meeting other people. What are their needs, right? And so by understanding what other people's needs were, I was able to grow myself and grow in my business and move forward. So it's really important to get yourself out there. And so many people, we're on the same level. We're looking to grow in whatever we're doing. And we do that best by meeting other people.
I love what you said because you said it without saying it, but inherently you were giving.
Mm-hmm.
You were giving. You were looking for ways to give people value. And I know you're very involved. And for some of those who may not follow David Meltzer or some of the other motivational speakers, I to summarize what I've learned over the past 3 years as an entrepreneur, it
Yeah.
can be boiled down to one word, and it's giving. You have to give
Yeah.
before you can even think about receiving. And I think that's what you did, and that's how it grew, which is incredible.
And you are spot on with that because I got to tell you, there's people that go in and they
Mm.
just want what's for me, what's in it for me, and it's very disingenuous. You turn people off. And even if you may make a connection and start moving forward, that's going to fizzle out very quickly. So you really have to remember it's about the journey in growing whatever it is that you're doing. And you do that by being all in and giving of yourself, and then you will receive back what it is that you're putting in. I
I
believe
love
that.
that.
Yeah.
I love that. How have you personally, and I appreciate you sharing that it started with something that was fun and a way to give back to entrepreneurs. How have you scaled, starting with that Facebook Live show into this amazing production, Wake Up with Marci? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, first of all, like again, when it came to Coffee with Marci, I started doing this for free because I wanted to get good. I wanted to bring value. I wanted to trust in what I was doing. And then I created a business out of it.
That's
People were
great.
paying me to create these videos for them and bring exposure. I had built a platform where people were tuning in, what's available to me out there, right? So during this time, I was also on my own healing journey. I stopped drinking 9 years ago, October 4th,
Congratulations.
2018. Thank you so much. And what I was doing was, as it wasn't just about putting down the drink, it was about healing from my past trauma. I had abandonment issues. There was sexual abuse. There was a lot of stuff that inhibited me from trusting myself and loving myself and being the best version of myself.
Mm,
So when I was healing and I was peeling back the layers and going deep within to begin the healing, I started beginning this path of love for myself, trusting myself, building my confidence, building an incredibly beautiful life for myself. And I knew that I wanted to give that back to others because life happens and we
yeah.
all may be going through different things. But at the end of the day, if you talk to enough people, they're going through the same things. And so how did we get through it? Right. And that's what I wanted to offer through Wake Up with Marci. I wanted to give to others uh, resources and stories of how people became triumphant through these hardships in their lives. And so, again, I started off with not asking for money. I wanted to build. Um, I wanted to build the platform. I wanted to build the trust in the audience, and that I was giving them something of value to build and make a difference in their own lives. And then I started, it is pay to play. I mean, this is my business. So people pay, not all. I mean, I do tell a lot of editorial stories just to spread hope. But if you're a business or you have a brand and you're selling something to help somebody else, I had to shift the mindset for myself that they're helping people through the brands and the services that they offer. I have created a platform that I can share what they are doing with others, right? So I had to shift how I felt about it because for me, again, it wasn't about money. It was about helping each other and helping people. But I realized like I'm helping these brands. I've
Yes.
built this platform and then these brands or these services or these people or even what you do come onto the show. And those that are watching, the audience now has the exposure, just like I had with Coffee with Marci. It's creating the exposure for these brands and services that can help others. And so that's how I started to scale. And then through this, I wrote a book, and a book is not necessarily a way to make money, but it's a way to get your story out there. And then you can build from that. You can create programs, or I'm now doing a lot of motivational speaking. I love to get on
Right.
stages and help people through my stories. So that's really it. You got to start, you got to have your mission very clear, what it is that you want to do with your business, and then begin to grow from there. But it is about the clarity, the mission, and not too quickly about wanting the payoff.
It's so hard in our internet world where, and this is why I do the show, Marci, because I know that to build what you built, it wasn't easy.
No,
But some people may look at you and say, wow, she is super successful. She must have just built this overnight, because we only see the end result. We don't
exactly.
really see the early mornings, the late nights, the
Yeah.
grinding, the sacrifice. So thank you for being so honest and sharing that, because I think if we talk about what it really takes to build and scale, and that it's not always glamorous, it's not always easy, then I think more and more people will not necessarily just start businesses, but stick with them, because it's every
Yeah, it's
entrepreneur gets to that point where they like want to quit, right?
my God. I mean, in all honesty, because one of the biggest things about myself is I am all about being transparent.
Yeah.
Yesterday I was
It
having a hard
shines through.
Yeah, thank you. But yesterday I was having a hard day. I was crying. I felt like I'm total menopausal, but I thought I was PMSing. I don't know what was happening, right? But I've definitely had those days. Like, I'm like, is it all worth it? Do I want to continue the grind? And I don't want to call it a grind. It's just that you've got to be all in, and you got to continue to evolve and learn and find things that you can learn from and people that you can learn from. And there's going to be those days that you're like, oh my God, is it worth it? And give yourself that grace. I mean, you're going to have that. But then today I woke up and I'm completely motivated. It's just, you're going to have those times, and things aren't always the way you want, but maybe the universe is trying to get you to go a different directions because that direction isn't the right direction for you at that time.
I have a lot of people on here who are really successful entrepreneurs, and I get the benefit of seeing the patterns through them all. And it's always comes down to giving and being gracious to yourself, being patient, and recognizing that it's a long. What you're saying is you take it one day at a time, but it's really a long term path.
It's a marathon, right? It's not the race, it's a marathon.
And I think you were one of the first people who I've had that really talked about healing, because we all talk about growth and scaling and success, but healing is something that I went through too personally, Marci. I don't drink alcohol. I hit a point in my life where I was in big law in New York, and I was completely burnt out. I just ran myself into the ground. I had my first child 2 months early, and it was during COVID, like the week that the governor was like, everyone stay home. Of course, we're going to the hospital. And so it was that moment that was a wake-up call for me. Like, you get one, Francesca. What are you doing? And I almost gave up on law, but instead I took a break by having my son, and pivoted and became a partner and built my own book of business. And so that's how I started my platform. I had no choice. Like, I needed clients.
Oh, it's truly amazing. But it's okay, right, to step back. It's so fearful to give up something. But sometimes
it's like your identity, almost. It was like my identity to give up big law. It was like, well, who am I if I'm not going to be a partner in a big law firm? Like, it was like awakening to how addicted I was to the identity or the perception. Very crazy.
It is. And I think that a lot of us, especially if we're successful or even, striving to be successful, and for successful is different for everyone. So, just remember, it's not about making necessarily millions of dollars or being completely recognized in the media or how many followers you have. There's success in so many different areas, in so many different ways. But it is like, if we have this idea of what that success is, it's hard to let that go. And sometimes the best thing to do is to let that go, to discover who you really are and what success is meant for you, and finding that, and what's your blueprint really. Yeah, what's really your blueprint to happiness.
And you said it earlier, being really clear on your goals.
Mm-hmm.
So the other day I read a definition of success, which is kind of mind-blowing. Success is setting a clear goal and working towards that goal every day.
Yeah.
It's So simple, and it seems, it's like, well, how can that be success? But that is literally a great definition of success. How many people know what they want and are really clear about it, and how many people are willing to wake up and make decisions and ask, either, is this getting me closer to my goal, or is this getting me farther away, and making the decision to get you closer. And if we all do that, that's success. It's just interesting to hear that.
And I tell you, I mean, a lot of people ask me, how do you do it all? I don't know how you do it all. How I do it is by taking those small steps each day. I don't overwhelm myself. I don't think about, honestly, the long-term goal. I've got the big ideas, but I'm also not married to that. I am just moving towards what it is that I think that I'm meant to do. And I've been given this mission and purpose since my sobriety and my healing journey and finding my self-worth. And, you know, we have this fear, and we have these limited beliefs and imposter syndrome. And like, even the most successful people out there are dealing with imposter syndrome. It's just, it's hard to trust, you know, like, how did I get to the table? Am I really meant to be at the table? And you are.
I get a lot of questions too on, you know, how you do it all, and imposter syndrome. And I always say, with imposter syndrome, I think everything shifted for me once I realized that the person on the other end, they don't know what the heck they're doing either. No one knows. And if it looks like they know, when they started, they didn't know. So you have to start, right? What's that quote? You don't start great, but you totally butchered it. You're not great to start. You have to start to be great.
Right. And the bottom line is, again, you think about all of these extremely successful people that are actors or whatever. They were told no a million times. Yes. I heard the greatest story the other day. Do you know the cleaning product 409?
Yes.
Okay. We all know 409. I mean, I don't know too many people that wouldn't know it, except for young people maybe. But 409, they had this idea for this cleaning product. It took them 409 times to get it right. 409. So if they stopped at 333, they would have never gotten to 409 and have now one of the biggest cleaning businesses out there, right? So it just goes to show you, like, you're maybe just one more step away from that big break.
It's incredible. And that's why, like, I really, Marci, thank you for coming on the show, because it shows the audience and the community there is a path. There always is a path. And whether it's growing a business or growing personally, seeing people who have done it, but not just seeing the end goal, really seeing and understanding what it took to get there, I think is what's going to inspire the next generation and people to continue. So I'm so grateful for you coming on and chatting with us today. This was awesome.
Thank you so much. And I just want to say that it starts with you. It starts with you. So really listen to your gut, listen to your guidance, and go within to find the love and what you are looking for out of this life, and stop looking to everyone else to tell you what's going to make you happy. So,
okay, everyone, I hope you had your notebooks out, wrote that down. Thank you. It was amazing, Marci. So many gems. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
For having me. I'm sorry we were a little late, but here we are.
Oh, here we are. Now it's recorded. Bye, everyone. This was Legal Limelight. We're typically here on Thursdays, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We hope to see you next Thursday. Thank you, everyone.